Hey everyone, Professor Z here. In this video, we're going to talk about how to do a simple edit for your partner podcast. So you already have your audio. So on my screen here, you can see I have a couple different things. In my Finder window here, I have some different audio files. I also have the text file from the interview. I have open here a tool from Adobe, and we're going to use Davinci Resolve to edit this audio like we did in class. So the first thing is I want to enhance the video, I want to enhance the audio quality because my original recording doesn't sound great.
Hello, this is Keith. 3, 2, 1. Hello, this is Keith Straley with the Student Profile. Recently, I sat down with.
So I recorded that with an older phone. There's some clicks in there for some reason which weren't audible. That was a phone mess up, and some other noises I just don't like. So we're going to get rid of that by using this Adobe Podcast Enhance feature where you can just drop in your audio file here and it's going to enhance it. Now you'll notice my original file is actually an M4A, and this site can only take MP3s or .wav files. So if you have an M4A file, simply do a quick Google search for M4A to MP3. You'll find a dozen converters. You can drop it in there and convert it to an MP3. And once you do that, you can just take your MP3, drop it in here, and based on how big that file is, how long it is, will determine how long it's going to take to enhance it. So we'll just let Adobe do its thing. And once it's done, you can listen to a preview of it, and we're going to download that to our hard drive where we have our project saved. So I'm just going to navigate to where I have the project. So I'm going to put it back in that same folder. So you can see here, there it is in the Finder
Hello, this
folder.
is Keith. 3, 2, 1.
If for whatever reason Apple Music likes to automatically play it, which is annoying, but we'll stop that from happening. So now that we have it downloaded, let's go ahead and open up Davinci Resolve. So here's my start screen. I'm going to create a new project by clicking on the bottom right here. I'll call this my Angela interview and hit create. And here we are. We're inside Davinci Resolve. Go to the bottom of the screen and click on Fairlight. That's going to bring you to the audio editing area. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the Finder window and find that enhanced audio clip and just drop it right into the timeline where I create audio track 1. Oops. Be careful where you drop it because you can make audio track 4 by accident, but I want to keep it in the first one. And so here's my audio track, and maybe I want to see this a little taller. I'm going to click and drag here just so I can see a little bit more space there. But now I have it, and you'll see over here on my media pool, I can see here's the interview, here's the timeline 1 that we just made. You can rename this to be, name the timeline you want if you need to. You can also rename the tracks, so you can make that narration because we're going to add a music track in as well. And now it's really just a matter of going in and chopping this up to get rid of all the mistakes that we made and just keep the good stuff, right? So I can see here's my countdown, 3, 2, 1. I want to start here.
Hello, this is Keith Straley with the Student Profile.
So that's the first good take. So for this one, I'm just going to click on the end here and drag it in. Very simply, click and drag. So when you bring your mouse to the edge of a clip, the icon will change, indicating that you can now do a little rolling edit there.
Hello,
so now I'm going to move forward here to the next spot where I mess up. Here it is.
Angela comes from.
Nope,
3,
messed that up.
2, 1. Angela comes from Long Island.
So we need to chop this part out here. So to do that, I'm going to put my playhead right about there. And I don't have to be precise here. I can always punch it up and fine tune it afterwards, but I want to just do a quick chop here. So to make a cut here, you can use the scissor icon here, which is the blade tool, or I can hit Command B on the keyboard to make a cut. Move forward here, hit Command B, select this part, and then do some magic. Hold down Shift and then hit Delete, and it's going to delete it and do a rolling edit by moving the rest of the track and getting rid of that dead space. If I just hit the regular delete key, it's going to leave an empty space, and then I'd have to physically move it over. So I like the ability to be able to just hit Shift, Delete, and everything roll over.
Nice and easy. In her junior and senior years.
So now the process is really just going through the rest of it and chopping out all those bad pieces. So let's do that real quick.
Years. In addition to her,
Again, Command B here, move forward, Command B here, click on this, Shift delete, and it's on.
years. In addition to her involvement in the video club, Angela is also a member of the gymnastics club, with the floor team being her favorite event. She's also black belt.
It chopped up. We have a couple seconds at the beginning here right now, but here is my file. I've chopped out all the mistakes, and it's always good to go back and listen to those edit points to make sure they sound seamless. You want to make sure that you can't hear that edit point, and that's how you know you've done a good job editing, is to make it so that you want to make sure you can't notice that edit point. That's how you know you've done a good job.
Program. Angela comes from Long Island, where she attended Wheatley High School.
Now, because we already put this through the audio enhancer, it's already doing a great job of keeping it at the right level. If I hadn't done that, I would use the dynamics here on the right, double click on that, and I can create I would create the expander. I would turn that on to bring the bass level up, and I would also turn on a limiter so it doesn't go beyond a certain level. But we don't need to do that because I put it through that enhancer in Adobe first. Now I do want to bring in some music here though, because I want a music bed underneath it. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I'm going to hit Command minus to zoom out. Command plus will zoom back in. And now let's go back to the internet here. And we're going to go to another wonderful website called bensound.com, which has a lot of free music on it. And we're just going to pick the first one here. Maybe the third one. Fourth one. No, fifth one. I use these a lot, so I'm looking for a new one. We'll use this one. So I hit the free download. And I'm going to put this in the same folder again. So once it's downloaded, we can go back here, open up our Finder window again, and here it is. And we're going to move this and create a new track. So you can see I'm creating a new track by just dragging it below my other track. Make sure that starts at the beginning. Now you notice if you look at the meters on the right, it's a lot louder than the narration, and plus we need to make it dip down underneath when I'm talking as well. So first I'm going to double click on the dynamics for audio 2 here, and I'm going to turn on the limiter. This will limit how loud that track can get.
Hello, this is Keith Strobey with
Now it's more in line with what the other track was. But now I also want to dip it down. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can get a little bit more precise here. When you bring your mouse into the track here, you can see there's this white line. Now this is a stereo track, so you're seeing the left channel and the right channel here. On this white line, that's the volume line. So when my mouse hovers over it, you see up and down arrows saying I can move it up or down. If you hold down the Option key and click, the icon changes, and now I click, they make a little keyframe there, right? And I'm going to do it over here as well. And now these are adjustable handles that I can drag this down and make a fade.
Hello, this is Keith Strobey with Student Profile. Recently,
Now you want to make sure that it's low enough that it's not competing with the vocals,
with Student Profile. Recently, I sat down with Angela Salvatore,
but high enough that you can still hear it. So you might want to play with it a little bit.
a freshman at Sacred Heart University and a student. Hello.
You can drag these forward or backwards to determine where you want to start, how long that fade is going to be. And we want to go to the end here as well and repeat this step. So I'm going to make another. I'm going to hold down Control, click, and bring this back up to 0 dB. That's full volume.
With the Student Profile. Thanks for listening.
And I'm going to stop it right there. So I'm going to make another cut, delete the end of it, and we can also make a fade at the end. So here, when I put my mouse on the corner of an audio clip, I can click this and make a fade this way. And now you also have this where you can change the shape of that fade. So you can make it a quick fade and slows down if you want to. And that's it. We have now made an entire little 60-second-ish little podcast with the narration. We cut out all the bad spots. We put some music underneath it. Now all we need to do is export it. So to export the audio, we go down to Deliver down here. And by default, because it's a video editing program, you're going to see the export video is checked off. So we need to uncheck that to make sure we're just doing audio in this case. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to give it a name. For my notes, I'm just going to say with music so I know it's the final version. I'm going to click on the browse button here and go back to that same folder. Now, I'm in the habit of always making a folder for my exports within my project, so that way I know these are the final things. So I'm going to hit save, and then click on the audio tab here, and I want to change the format. So I want to go down to MP3, and then leave it like that. Now, on the bottom left here, hit the add to render queue, and now it's in the queue. To finish it off, we just hit render all. Give it a moment. And now that it's complete, we can go back to our Finder window here, go to our Exports folder, and there it is. There is the final version.
Hello, this is Keith Straovey with the Student Profile.
After you export it, it's very important to go and make sure that you listen to it, or if it's a video project, make sure you watch it, because you want to make sure it did export correctly. There's a lot of little things that could go wrong when you export by just simply hitting the wrong key on the keyboard by accident and marking an in or out point that you didn't realize, and you didn't export the whole project, or you ended up exporting 20 minutes of silence without realizing it. So make sure you preview your projects after you export them to make sure they are correct before you submit them. That's all for this video. We'll see you next time.